Hey everybody, welcome to the Tourist Tuesday. No, gotta spit that one out. Tuesday edition of World Soccer Daily. I'm Jim. He's Amadeus, and Amadeus, we got some fun stuff going on starting today.
Yes, Jim. It's a tourist Tuesday, as you put it, and we're going to be touring tons of leagues today.
Right.
So
What's
lots going on.
yeah, for sure. What's first on your hit list today?
Yeah. So the first thing for me is just the Argentina league, just because there's three matches there, but really the matches aren't that great, so we don't have to talk about it. Argentina is this is, I believe, the last round. These three matches are the last of this second last match day, and then this weekend will be the final match of their season. So their season will be coming to an end very shortly.
Wow, that's Any thoughts on who wins?
Yeah, River Plate's already got the title locked up. They won it last week. They have a 9 point, something like that, over second place Talleres. And that was a big reason why I took River Plate to win the Copa Libertadores, because now that the season's over, they're going to be starting their League Cup, the Coupe de la Ligue, but the League Cup isn't as important as the Copa Argentina. Mm-hmm. So like these teams like, Boca and Defensa and River, these teams that are playing in Copa Libertadores and Copa Sudamericana, they probably won't focus as much on the League Cup because they're obviously in the big continental competition. So that'll be their focus. And I think River Plate is a really good team. So definitely, they finished the season strong, and it'll be interesting to see how they come out in August.
Sometimes it's off the pitch news that makes that makes the most noise, as opposed to who's winning games. And such was the case yesterday. We now know that Kylian Mbappe's potential record $1 billion deal threatens soccer's balance. You think? All right. So let's take a look at this deal. The Saudi Arabian club Al Ahly is preparing for a $1.1 billion offer to sign Mbappe from Paris Saint-Germain, which includes a $332 million fee to PSG and a one-year contract of $776 million. That is what we call in the business a lifetime achievement award for your family. $776 million. Now, then that would allow him to join Barcelona in 2024. So it's a bridge contract. I mean, it's a one-off. They're paying him one season, $776 million. When your jaw gets off the floor, please, your response to that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna go personally.
Right.
I know it's just the 1 year, but I think what you're seeing is the Messi deal fell through the cracks,
right?
And now the Saudi Pro League is just scrambling.
They're just
desperately. Yeah, they're scrambling desperately, and we saw them toss around big numbers for the Live Golf. So sure. This isn't anything new, really. And obviously, 2 years later, now we see how Live turned out. So I don't think it really threatens the economic balance in soccer, because like that deal that Messi was offered was massive as well, and he turned it down, and the whole reasoning was because he felt he was more in control of his future going to Inter Miami, and. I'm sure there's other reasons why Messi didn't accept the deal. Even Ronaldo, I'm hearing things about how Ronaldo's unhappy with Al Nassr and some of the things that he was promised. They're walking back now. So I think there's a lot of question marks about this Saudi Pro League, and so that's what you're seeing now. The deal with Messi fell through the cracks. Now the smoke and mirrors is starting to fade away, and they're scrambling to bring in another star to try and show that
legitimize
we're still kicking it, and yeah, I don't know how this this little experiment is going to go, but obviously it's up to Mbappe. You know, maybe he wants the money, but it's a big move for him, right?
Mhm.
He's got to go play over there for the next year, and it's all about really. It's going to be a matter of is it something he really wants to do.
100%. Let's take a second, just have some fun, and play with that 700. Remember, the number was 776 million for a single year. So let's see how that compares to other sports. All right, 531 million is LeBron James' all-time NBA earnings. By the way, real quick, glad to see Bronny James doing well. Had a heart attack yesterday evening, as when he was trying in the workouts for USC, where he's now a freshman. He was quickly taken by ambulance to nearby hospital, and then he was checked out, and all's good, and he went home yesterday. So thank goodness for Bronny James and your dad at $531 million. There's a lot of cash still left on the table for the James family. $494 million. That's Patrick Mahomes' deal through 2031. $450 million is the value, and I think that might be a little high for the Arizona Coyotes. $367 million is the entire New York Mets payroll. And now let's move up here one more graphic, and that's $332 million. That's Brady's all-time NFL earnings. 225, which is the 2023 NFL salary cap. 185 million, the value of the Seattle Storm. You have a good story about that. We'll let you get that in a second. And $157 million, which is Tiger Woods' entire career earning. So there you go. A little fun with Mbappe's $776 gazillion deal that he got.
To be fair to Tom Brady, he was always the kind of guy to take less money to bring in talent around him. So, it doesn't surprise me that number is not as high as it probably should be.
Yeah, or could be. Now, you said that you had some friends who were definitely regarding the storm in Seattle.
Yeah, definitely had some buddies saw that those same stats of the breakdown earnings, and one of them goes, he could buy the Seattle Storm. He could buy 3 Seattle Storms. And then another one said the Storms suck. Why would you even want to buy them? So yeah, definitely some people are having fun with this money that's getting tossed around.
Yeah, monopoly money. And it's funny. Beth, one of our followers on Twitter, said to me in a tweet yesterday that the Saudis are spending all this oil money while they can, because where everything's moving to electric vehicles. So maybe she's on to something. They want to throw all that cash out. But you got to admit, I mean, $776 million for a year is a very, very enticing possibility. So there's that. And just when you thought it was safe to go back to the pool, we have, at this point, we got Inter Miami versus Atlanta. That's game 2 of the Lionel Messi situation. The game is on Telemundo and streamed on Peacock in Spanish, or you can go to Apple TV Plus and watch it on in English, Spanish, French, and your local radio person calling the game. So Miami and Atlanta, from what I've read, and you may have read something different, the expectations is for Messi to start in this game. Whether it ends it, I don't know, but the expectation is he's going to start.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into it much. This wasn't a game that I loved tonight. Obviously, it's going to be his second appearance for the team, maybe his first start, as you mentioned. But yeah, like I said, I don't know about this team really. I'm not convinced Messi's just going to turn it around. Now, he's he's obviously not convinced either, because the fact that he feels like he needs to bring so many teammates from the 2015 Barcelona team tells you all you really need to know, right? It's either, do I want this MLS defenseman slash midfielders that have been here, or do I want to bring in my 40-year-old buddy from the club he's playing in Japan? And apparently the 40-year-old has more appeal to Messi. So,
well, I mean, at that point, right, they know what they're doing. He doesn't even have to think. He knows Messi. Messi knows him. They know what they can do on the pitch together, as opposed to trying to figure out, where's Messi want the ball? Where's, where should I be in this situation? I mean, there's all kinds of crazy there that needs to be changed. So, it's going to take a learning process, and we'll see. And as you mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, that fading Atlanta is not a bad idea.
Yeah, Atlanta's a bad road team. If you're gonna fade them, it's gonna be on the fact that they're a bad road team. But see, the other angle here is, Miami's not a far travel from Atlanta. Compared
about 700 miles.
Yeah, well, compared to traveling up north or something, or out to the West Coast.
It's a 90-minute flight.
Yeah. So it's a shorter travel for them. And the other thing is, Atlanta's rested. This is their first match of the tournament versus Miami, who's already played one of their two matches. This will be their second and final match of this group stage that they're doing. And obviously Miami's sitting pretty right now because they have the 3 points. And because that one avoided the penalty kicks, Cruz Azul didn't get a point out of that. So really, Miami might not even be thinking about winning this match against a well-rested, strong Atlanta side. This could be one where they're happy to come away with a draw, because that puts them at 4 points. They know Atlanta can't get more than 4 points, and Cruz Azul would be stuck in that situation because they have no points. So the most they could get is 3 from that last match with Atlanta. So yeah, Miami needs a draw, and they're past the group here.
Well, real quick, the weather report from our friends at AccuWeather. Game time temperature is expected to be 87 degrees with 70% humidity, a wind of 10 miles per hour, and there's a chance of rain is only 15%. So it's going to be typical Florida July weather tonight. So there you go. Let's move on to World Cup tonight, 9 p.m. on Fox USA Netherlands. That
one's tomorrow.
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought our 9 p.m. was their morning Thursday.
Well, you said tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. This one's tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Thursday.
Yeah. I know, because we got the Canada
Thursday
at 8 a.m. and then USA that same day at 9 p.m.
So we're talking about Thursday, not tomorrow. So there you go. 9 p.m. tomorrow night, Women's World Cup, on Fox. Okay, so check that out. And, that should be an interesting game for sure. So we'll see. Well, real quick, I'll give you the games tonight. We already talked that Inter Miami's taking on Atlanta. The Mazel Tov, if you like, as I like to call it, is Juarez playing at 9:30 p.m. Montreal, that's tomorrow. Santos Laguna is in Houston tonight, 8:30. For their battle, and then FC Dallas is at next crop. That's today at 9:30, and there's your, there's what's happened in so far. That's your second matches for group, for the group stage. So,
do you know what happened with the Galaxy Leon match? Because that was supposed to be tonight, and now it's been moved to tomorrow night. So I'm just curious what happened there.
I'm sorry. It could very well be from visa standpoints and things like that. when you come to the country to play in a sporting event, there are temporary visas that have to be issued in the country, before you leave the country to come to the United States. I've seen where baseball players and basketball players and folks who live overseas in the off season, and also hockey, where they come back to play, and it's when their work visa gets held up for 24 to 48 hours. So perhaps the problem was that that the team coming from the Mexican League had some issues with regard to visas. I mean, that was the only thing that I can think of.
Yeah, that makes sense to me because they did play their first match in Canada, so they would have had to get two there probably, one for Canada, one for US.
Right. So yeah, because they don't transfer them. So yeah, I mean, for all we know, they were sitting in Canada waiting for the visas to come.
Yeah, that could be the case. Yeah, that might have explained it. Yeah, because I thought that was so weird. Last night, I had handicapped it for today, and then I woke up this morning and it wasn't on today's card anymore, and I was like, wait a minute.
There you go. Bum bum bum. So we got that done for the day, and let's scroll over here for a second, and we've got. Before we do the baseball schedule, we would be remiss in our total situation here without going to the Ohtani watch. And this time, we actually have people who've spoken to the Angels, and those two teams are teams that you may not expect to do it, and that would be the Orioles and the Diamondbacks. They've talked to the Angels about potentially getting Ohtani. Both of them have pretty decent farm systems. Neither of them is going to sign him after the season. So these are rentals, and actually, we said yesterday that we were 1 week out from the trade deadline. A lot of times, this is where you begin the dance, right? Where if you're the Angels, you kind of gauge the interest in who might come to you in a trade, and who who's your better trade partner, and all those sort of scenarios take place. And as we said before, they may not even trade him. So, they're listening, and if they hear something that, bells go off, maybe they do. I don't think either the Diamondbacks or the Orioles, given the fact that neither team is going to sign him after the season, then that's going to really it may cost them more than it's worth, is I guess the best way to put it in that regard, because you're going to have to give away your entire farm system to get Ohtani. And maybe, like I said, maybe the Angels hold on to him. We don't know. All we know is he's not playing at home until after the trade deadline, because they're on the road. So the Ohtani watch goes on, and Baltimore and the D-backs are your potential teams to watch, at least the early ones in the clubhouse. But like I said, I don't think if he's going anywhere, it's going to be somewhere where A, they either potentially could sign him, or B, he can absolutely, lock in a chance at the postseason or World Series. So that's something to keep an eye on, because we do. So there you go. We do it so you don't have to. It's that way as well. So, my friend, how'd you do on baseball last night? So you had a couple of.
Had a nice 2-0 day, and it was both games were wild, Jim. I was on the Twins and the Astros, and I'm sure you know how those games panned out.
Oh man, yeah. The what was he gonna say? The pitching optional day. I mean, it's just like, yeah, okay.
I was this close to giving out the under in that Texas one, because I liked the starters, but I said, you can't trust the Texas bullpen, and they also have a good offense. Do I really want to take the under with these two? And sure enough, both teams hit the game total themselves.
Oof. Yeah. Man, it's a good thing you went the way you thought you should. I think that definitely makes it work.
Yeah, I went with the Astros specifically because the bullpen's a bit better. Obviously, it didn't show it last night, but the offense came through.
Yeah, you basically.
The Rangers bullpen failed, so that was as predicted. That one came through.
Well, there's some things there's some things that you can count on. And the Astros bullpen giving up leads is one of them. They are, it's just as easy as to say it's going to rain in Florida in the summertime. It's definitely going to be a situation there where they can get it going, but that's crazy, totally crazy.
Yeah, definitely. That was back and forth. I think Houston got out to the 4-0 lead, and then it was 6-4, and then it was 6-6, and then it was 9-6, and in the bottom of the same inning it was 9-9. So just a crazy one, and even that Twins one, the Twins were winning 2-1, and then in the 9th inning, Seattle hits a 2-run home run that I needed on Sunday night against the Blue Jays in the 9th inning, not against the Twins, right? But sure enough, they take the 3-2 lead, and I'm thinking the game's over because it's the 9th inning. And then in the bottom of the 9th, the Twins, if you saw them on Sunday against the White Sox, then they have no quit in them right now because they hit a double and a single to tie the game, and then we get into the 10th, and they brought it home.
Now, there's been more than a few games this week that's ended, with walk-off situations. Real quick, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's been it's just been a gas can kind of week in general.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, so real quick, let's go down the schedule for tonight. 6:40. First pitch is the Angels in Motown to face Detroit. The aforementioned Baltimore Orioles will be playing in Philadelphia, 6:40. Fascinating situation in that game, and that was a play at the plate where Bryce Harper was called out, which was a phenomenal play by Bryce to get that close. But he thought he was safe, but he was out. And it was funny because when he was going back to the dugout, he looked like he thought he had a bat in his hand because he air smashed a bat over his leg. So maybe next time Bryce will remember to take the bat with him. We'll see how that works. In the Battle of Florida, it's Miami with Cabrera on the mound against Tyler Glasnow in the Rays. Colorado and Washington, who yesterday had one, you had spoken about it earlier, had one of those pitching option games. It's going to be Gober for Colorado, Williams for Washington. The Mets and the Yankees. Okay, Verlander. All right, Verlander, we're talking about you, buddy. Verlander, I hope he, if he's being showcased, I hope he doesn't showcase like, the other day we were talking about, oh goodness, who was it? The
Giolito,
Lucas Giolito, yeah. So it's Verlander and German taking on each other. Casey in Cleveland, Greinke and Savali. I had this feeling that Greinke's going to get moved at the deadline.
Yeah, you think so? I mean, he's not a bad arm.
No, he's not. And
it was always a move to the Royals where I didn't really understand. I was like, what? How is he going to help anybody over there? He's pretty decent.
Well, yeah, I mean, he started his career there, and okay, I get that. But I do think that Greinke, you could probably put him in 5 or 6 teams. He's that guy you talked about yesterday. You're not going to get a lot of ones. You may get a 2. Greinke is a 3, maybe a 2, depending upon how he's pitching. So that'll probably be the Greinke watch. What?
I'm going to pose this. Maybe the Blue Jays go for him because they picked up Whit Merrifield from the Royals last year, so they could reunite the two guys.
Well, they got a relationship with the team. That's always important.
Yeah, because I noticed that they make a lot of trades with Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something where it happens too often to be coincidence.
Right. Well, most of the time in cases like that, I mean, these general managers are buddies, and they want to help each other out. So one guy will have one guy and say, "Here, you take this." I remember back in the I want to say early '80s. Maybe I'm wrong. Might be the late '70s. The Pirates traded traded with the Oakland Athletics, and it helped them get to the championship. It was 2 players and a player to be named later. The player to be named later was the manager, Chuck Tanner, which they when you get a player to be named later, obviously you don't know who it is at that point in time. You have a list probably of 4 or 5 people that they've given you, saying, okay, it could be A, B, or C of this list. So whenever they waived on Tanner, they went ahead and sent an actual field player over there. So, all right, Seattle's at Minnesota. Seattle, for some reason, Minnesota's bats started hitting again. Kirby and Lopez on that one. Texas, Houston, that was a walk-off last night. So we're going to see Rodriguez against France in that game. The Cubbies and the White Sox, we have another intercity rivalry game. Hendricks on the hill for the Cubbies, and over on the south side, you got Kopech pitching for the White Sox. Cincinnati and Milwaukee again. Yeah. All right. Fast stat on that, and it's mind-boggling. Milwaukee has beaten, this will be the 12th time they played, seemingly in the last 12 days, but this is 12. 9-2 are Milwaukee against Cincinnati.
Yeah, you know what? They've won 5 of the 6 right around the All-Star break, where they saw them right before and right after. So they won 5 of those 6, and they won the opener last night. So right now there's 6-1 for you. So I can believe it. 9-2. It seems like, as you know, sometimes we see that in sports. Sometimes there's just a team that matches up well, and they got the other team's number.
Yep, that's true. Or you might find it with a pitcher or hit or whatever.
And the Brewers, as we mentioned, they have been pitching probably some of the best pitching in the league over the last 2 weeks. And I even saw now they have the 3rd best ERA in the entire National League for the season. So they're just those arms.
Well, to that point, the famous and very talented Milwaukee broadcaster, who we all loved in the commercials and all that, from the standpoint of his being, so funny. He started with the Miller commercials, and that's Bob Uecker. Uecker had a career batting average against Sandy Koufax of 441. He couldn't hit any pitcher in baseball at all except for Koufax. So, to your point, sometimes you just dial somebody up and he's your guy. All right, Hill's on the mound for the Bucks tonight. They're going to be in San Diego, and I'm assuming that Blake Snell he's not sent out his laundry and his bags are packed, because there's a very good chance he's headed out of Southern California for somewhere. Arizona hosts the Cardinals tonight. That's Steven Matz against Kelly. Oakland and San Francisco. And San Francisco has not been able to hit to save their lives for some reason. Anyway, and it's Waldachek for the Oakland A's. I don't have a pitcher here. I have a TBD, so I don't know.
I got Alex Cobb.
Alex Cobb, okay. Alex Cobb's good. And then your aforementioned Toronto Blue Jays will have Bassett on the mound, and he gets to face Urias, who is making his return to Dodger Blue tonight. So that's your baseball schedule for the day. And did I miss it? Yeah, there was 1 or 2 games. 1 game. I didn't have the pitching. I now do have the pitching. Pitching on the Angels and the Detroit Tigers, it's Canning. For the Angels, it's Rodriguez, Eddie Rodriguez, for the Detroit Tigers. So, I don't think I also Baltimore Gibson versus Philadelphia's Walker. So I had everybody else, but those are the two teams I did not have a pitcher for. So that's your slate of baseball for this beautiful evening. So there you go. So we've talked about, pretty much everything from that standpoint. There's all kinds of crazy going on with the Women's World Cup. Have you seen more than one game? I've seen two. That's I've been able to get.
Yeah, I'd say I've seen about half the games.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
you're a better man than I am going to get in.
I've watched quite a bit. I can stay up late and watch the night games, and I can get up early enough to watch the morning games. But it's those in betweeners, those 3 a.m. really that time slot has been killing me.
Yeah, well, fortunately, that goes south whenever the knockout round goes. So, good to hear that. Anyway, so that's what we got going here.
Just going back to the games. From what I've seen, the reffing's been atrocious, and more specifically, the VAR. It's just been awful. It's overturning calls that were called correctly by the referee on the field, and then it's forcing them to overturn calls that were called correctly that I've seen a few times. So just absolute classic FIFA. If you're listening, good job. Atrocious with the VAR as always.
Yeah, you got to be consistent there. That's exactly what they are. Champions League is back. Decent games this week, Foxy says. So.
As I mentioned yesterday, we were starting to get into that third, fourth qualifying round of the Champions League right before the group stage. And we talked about it yesterday, how some big names now, Servette and Genk, Zalgiris and Galatasaray is an interesting one to me. I'm staying off these first ones. I'd prefer to bet on the second leg just because, I don't know, half the time some of these teams, like Zalgiris is a great example. They tied Struga 0-0 at home, and then they go on the road and beat them 2-1. So I like to bet the second legs in these qualifiers because obviously by then you know what these teams need to know. But this Galatasaray team is interesting to me just because they won the Turkish title last year, but they've lost quite a bit of talent. Ender Valencia is not there anymore. Mauro Icardi. They still have Dries Mertens, but a lot of their offensive attacking power that was there last season has left. So it'll be interesting. I'm going to be watching this Galatasaray team for sure.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that we're looking at, some really fun games. And tonight, we're going to get set up for tomorrow's match where Canada will have played by the time we come on, and then U.S. will play in primetime a little later in the day. So
that'll be one. So I'll probably watch the 1 a.m. one tonight. I'll try to if I don't fall asleep during it, and then I'll watch the 8 a.m. Canada tomorrow. But that one in the middle, Spain, absolutely not. 4 a.m. No way in hell I'm making that one.
Well, I think everybody will forgive you on that one. So tell us about your picks for today. What's going on?
Yeah, so you can get my plays at bigal.com and pickadvisor.com. I have what do I have up tonight? I got one for Argentina that's actually, I think it actually just started. It was an afternoon match. And then I got 2 in the League's Cup tonight. Not the Messi match. Sorry, everybody, but it's not a great match. I kind of like Atlanta, if anything, in that one, just because of the rest factor, and Miami only needs to draw to advance. So, but I got 2 in the League's Cup tonight. I got 3 MLB coming off that perfect 2-0 day. So, hoping to have another big one. And Foxy, it's just I got to point this out because I took Spain at plus 600 to win the Women's World Cup too. So shout out to Foxy. And Colombia, I was on that over. It was a 1.5 last night. I got the over 2, so I pushed. But I thought it was ridiculous. Colombia, I wish I took that money. But I got Colombia to advance out of the group at minus 150, so I paid a little more juice. But definitely. So far, I've been doing well with these group bets in the Women's World Cup. Like I got Canada to win their group, which I still have faith in. I got New Zealand to qualify out of their group at -110, which looks great. Colombia, that match last night against South Korea probably decided the group right there. Yeah, I got Spain and USA. More so, I do like Spain really to win the entire thing. And so definitely, I had Argentina to qualify at +33, but they lost to Italy, so that one will probably lose. But yeah, there's been a lot of value to make in this group. I got a small piece on Denmark to win their group because I think England's overrated.
I think the over/under on the Messi game tonight is like 2.5.
Yeah. So again, that was the same, right? And that one was an over by the last kick of the game. So again, they have no idea what's gonna happen here. And
it became a push at that point. Yeah. Because it was 2.5, it was 2.5, right? And you got it. So there's that. So there you go. All right. Well, any final thoughts before we get out here on Tuesday?
No, it's just enjoy the matches tonight. We got lots, as Foxy said. There's Champions League today. We got the Copa Libertadores and Sudamericana round of 16 starts next week in August. There's tons going on. The Leagues Cup, obviously, the Women's World Cup. So make sure you get your bets in.
Get it done, folks. Have some fun and go visit. All the information is in the show box below. If you can't remember where to go, the links are there. And by all means, please go and use them. All right, for Amadeus, I'm Jim. We will see you tomorrow, 2:00 on Wednesday, when we can talk a little bit about what happened the night before and what's going to happen tomorrow night. All right, take care, gang. Bye-bye.